Good morning everybody, my name's Jason from Caravanning Queensland. We are here today at Cruisemaster with Mr. Andrew Goddard. Now these videos that we're creating for you, they're all about caravan safety, just providing you with some tips and information about how you can get on the road safely and operate your caravan or your trailer without having the worries of whether you're doing so in a safe manner. But Andrew, thanks for joining us today, mate.
Yeah, no problem.
Now we want to ask you about suspensions. Now, I think you've put a few suspensions through their paces over the time,
Yeah, certainly have.
so you know a bit about them. So I guess for someone new to caravanning and recreational vehicles, what is a typical suspension on a caravan or a trailer?
So they really come down to two categories: beam axles and independents. So beam axles are your traditional leaf spring type of things that we've seen on box trailers, camper trailers, caravans even for many years. They're basic, they're cost effective, but they're not the most durable and they don't give the best ride. The next category of independents, that's typically rubber torsion, coil or air.
Yep.
The latter giving kind of the premium ride characteristics.
Yeah, so there's something that's available for any sort of use and interest basically. I guess it's when you're choosing what suspension is best for you, talk to your dealer, talk to the manufacturer about what the use will be or how you'll be using the caravan or the trailer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another good thing is really figure out where you want to go with your caravan and camper trailer. What type of roads do you want to do? What type of loads do you want to carry? What are you going to take with you? And ultimately, one of the big things with suspensions and caravans is corrugations.
Yep.
You kind of got to make the decision when you get to corrugations. Do you want to make sure you can keep going through? Do you want to slow down and take it a bit slower, or do you want to say I don't want to hit the corrugations and turn around and find a different way through?
Yeah.
That will kind of define where you end up with your suspension type.
So with the suspension, what role does it play in the overall safety? So we're talking about road safety.
Yeah.
So what role does the suspension and the individual components that make that up play in safety?
So ultimately it's about maintaining traction, so keeping your wheels on the ground correctly loaded. Obviously if you don't have all your wheels on the ground, you're going to have a bad time. So the suspension being compliant so it can absorb bumps, but not too soft that it will control the body. Particularly, we see it up here in Queensland, the heavily cambered roads. As you change lanes, you want a well-tuned suspension that can handle that type of thing. So obviously, there's the springs selected, the dampers selected, and how the suspension is packaged. Wanted holistically designed together.
Yep.
And then the caravan and the suspension designed together, giving you the optimum package.
Great. And when you're out on the road touring, you're in a remote area of Queensland, what can people be doing just to maintain it? We're not just simple basic recommendations that you put forward to your customers about what they should be doing to maintain that while they're in those remote locations.
Yeah. So kind of owner-driven stuff is mostly about keeping bolts tight.
Yep.
It's no different to the tow vehicle, your Land Cruiser or whatever. If you're hitting corrugations, you're beating it up, stuff will inevitably start coming undone, so you want to stay on top of that. So we're looking at things like hinge bolts, pivot bolts on leaf springs, U-bolts, shocky bolts.
Yep.
And one of the most common things is wheel studs.
Yep.
Wheel nuts. You want to make sure those things are
Can't
tight.
forget about them.
Absolutely.
No.
And particularly on single axle caravans, you're carrying a similar weight on one axle on your caravan that is spread across two axles on your car.
Yep.
So that wheel stud and wheel brake interface is really important.
Yeah, it's something that can be overlooked by people as well, but so important. And so what tools should people take with them? What's a must if you're heading out on the road so you can conduct those simple maintenance checks?
A torque wrench,
Yep.
sockets and spanners that you can put on everything. Like when you're looking for your suspension, it's probably a good idea to have a look at the type of nuts and bolts underneath it. It does make it a bit easier if someone's put some thought into making sure that they've used as few different types as possible.
Yep.
So you don't have to carry the whole toolkit, you can carry essentials. Grease gun, also useful if you're in dusty conditions. I haven't met a polyurethane yet that doesn't squeak, so you might want to keep that at bay as well.
Yep, good stuff, mate. And so the self-checks are good and very important, but as we always say, you must have your van regularly serviced. by a qualified service and repair workshop. So when you're talking to your customers, how often do you recommend you bring your caravan in to have that suspension checked and serviced?
Yeah, so certainly with our products and many like it, it's every 10,000 kilometres are your major services. If you're beating up the corrugation, doing off-road conditions, you might want to shorten that a bit. In the first 0 to 10,000 kilometres, you want to get it serviced a bit more frequently because you're getting bearings bedding in, brake shoes and things like that are bedding in, so you want to make sure they're all adjusted nicely. And when we're looking at the type of things that you want to service, those bearings and brakes are
very important. Yeah. Well, mate, thank you very much for today. If you want more information, go to our website, caravanqld.com.au. If you do have a question, pop it in the comments here and we will get back to you with answers to those. But most importantly, thank you for watching today, and when you're out on the road, stay safe. We want you to get to your destination and enjoy yourself when you get there. So thank you for joining in.